Welcome to the Transitional Changes Mission podcast show with your host, King Summer.
And your host, Queen Summers.
Hey, how you doing today? Today is Wednesday, January the 13th, 13 days into the New Year's. And we are talking about feminism. What's at the current event? VP Vice President Kamala Harris is sworn in to be Vice President. Well, they actually ain't sworn in, but they don't sign the documents.
Right. So she pretty much in there.
Yes. And we are here to talk about the movement, or what you might want to call the Me Too movement, or just women empowerment.
The word feminism, it is credited from a utopian socialist by the name of Charles Fourier. He was a French philosopher. He came up with the word feminism in 1837. And feminists appeared in France and the Netherlands in 1872, Great Britain in 1890s, and the United States in 1910. The word feminism can be a scary and confusing word to some people. Many believe that feminism means hating men or wanting women to rule over everything. This could not be further from the truth. Feminism simply means believing that men and women are equal, neither is better than the other, and neither should be treated with more respect than the other. Everyone should be equal on all levels. Simple as that.
And some might say this movement started when Lonnie Richie got his butt kicked at the hotel room. But some might be opinionated to say that it started back in 1974 when the first woman president came in power.
Right.
Or some might say in the modern time with Kamala Harris being elected to be the vice president. Either way, feminism has been making a movement into equal quality of life. And I would say I love it because I have seen personally domestic violence. Some has been belittled by men and all. And I agree with a woman that is now taking up mixed martial arts. I agree to some working in the workforce to become equal, because who would want to sit back, continue doing the same thing of 1950? Life involved, time involved, and with that, people involved, with all the above.
Mm-hmm. And if this is your first visit, we like to welcome you and thank you for listening. And if you've been listening to us since the beginning, you're no longer ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome, and just think of us as your distant cousins across the pond by the name of Transitional Changes Mission. The relationship between gender and feminism has been the most important in international relations. Thus, one can say that feminism aims to realize fundamental transformations in gender relations by shifting existing power relations in favor of women. It is about seeing the gender dimension where it is not obvious. A feminist perspective based on the experiences of women can add new dimensions to understand the world politics system. Feminism allows equal opportunities for both sexes. Gender roles can be harmful, and a set of conforming rules that say how a person should behave based on their gender can be harmful to both men and women. The popular belief is that women and girls are meant to take care of the home, while boys and men are meant to go out and provide for the family. Can you imagine not being allowed to go to school just because you're a girl? Or being forced to stay at home and look after the house just because you're a woman? This is the reality that many girls around the world face, even in South Africa. They are restricted simply based on their gender. It is also unfair to place pressure on boys to fulfill certain roles that are based on their gender. Feminism is about allowing both boys and girls, males and females, the freedom to do what they want, and making sure that people are not held back by gender roles and expectations, whether it be at home, at school, in the workplace, or in the parliament.
Wow. And I would say that throughout time, people misuse power. And I would not to say that us men has misused power towards women, but there is a percentage. And I asked the women that are becoming into power, are you going to misuse your power? Is this going to be a trait of karma coming back to men? Or is it going to continue the cycle of karma going upon humans until they get it right?
So write to us at TC Mission Speaks and let us know what you think. Being a feminist doesn't mean you have to change who you are. You can still enjoy your femininity while being a feminist. Feminism has nothing to do with how you dress or how much makeup you wear, but it has everything to do with striving for the same rights men have.
And equal quality.
Feminism also has nothing to do with your gender or sex. You can be a man and be a feminist too. Feminism shouldn't degrade or ignore men. It's not feminism if one gender is not noticed. As long as you believe that both men and women should be given equal opportunities, then you believe in feminism.
The human race, the audience, everybody that you can share this podcast with, to work with time. Time is going to, regardless, move forward. And like I said before, time is evolving at every second that it ticks. And as we notice, history is being made here in the United States with the first Vice President Kamala Harris being elected. Now, not to say in other countries there are women presidents as today.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was asking, as we are noticing the change, I'm asking the women that are becoming the change, are you going to misuse your power? Think about that. Because with that, that's how we can break this change of misused power and time. That's the only way something can stay in power. Because if it's misused, just like in a relationship, a domestic violence relationship that really disgusts me, to see a strong man or woman being overly aggressive towards another male or female. It is very disgusting to see that in public, which I believe probably 70% of people in this world have seen. And it is wrong for a person to be trafficked, violently belittled, or just anything that is negative. Any human being. And that's why I brought that question up, because I can see and notice the change within time. Like I said before, we got a first time. I keep saying this because it is very historical. Mm-hmm. Very historical.
We're making history in 2021.
46th president. And this is the first Vice President Kamala Harris being elected. Now, not to say that Hillary Clinton, she made history. And it has been countless other times, and that actually they was elected in Congress, in the Senate, in the House, in your government, state.
Yeah.
All these has been movements that has been a process for women to ultimately in the nation become a president.
And not only was she the first ever to run for public office, King, she also served as the first ever female senator from New York, the Secretary of State under President Obama, and of course, as the first ever female candidate in the 2016 presidential election. Now, despite facing countless sexism throughout the presidential election, Hillary Clinton took the high road up until the very end, when she memorably said, I'll never forget this, to all the little girls watching, never doubt that you are valuable and powerful and deserving of every chance and opportunity in the world.
Wow. And that will build up their integrity, which we got a show on coming up soon.
That's bold. That's bold. We can't call ourselves feminists yet deny boys the right to show their emotions, or men. Whatever we teach young girls, we should teach young boys the same things. Girls and boys should be given the same responsibilities and learn to meet equal challenges so that they both know that they are capable of achieving anything they want. We need to stop saying there are male and female jobs. We've seen how capable men can take care of children. They have this site out, King, for men who are nannies. They call them nannies. Just as much as we've realized how awesome women can be as CEOs of a company. Whatever opportunities there are available for men, there should be equal opportunities for women. Feminism should not be seen as a horrible word. The sooner we fully understand what it means, the quicker our efforts towards making equal opportunities available for both males and females will be.
So I would say that labels sometimes encourage people to do things, just like Queen Summer said that some men are being called nannies. But I would say, men, pat yourself on the back for being compromising to your wife, to your family, and to your world. Because throughout this pandemic, life has changed. Maybe your wife has the opportunity to continue to work from home in an office space in her house. But you was a construction worker or a essential driver or somewhere where it was needed in public of a business that closed down.
Mm-hmm.
While that closed down, you didn't go rush to go get a job if the income of the wife accepted for the family to live off her income. All she might have just asked was for some help with watching the kids, cleaning the house. And what man wouldn't want to do that?
Absolutely. You stepped up to the plate as a father.
And this is encouraging your children to see equal quality and be compromising within a relationship. Especially with the movement of women becoming into power. I am proudly to support Vice President Kamala Harris for winning the election.
Absolutely.
Not because political reasons, but for the reason that she can show with her being black-skinned that my princess can become a president or a vice president.
Or a scientist.
Yes. And I would say that it's a lot of things within this change that is changing that still need a lot of work. But as we notice, the change is making process. The process movement of the women, you just seen the timeline. And I would say not too long from now, we will see a president woman. Now you can ask why there is a process. I ask myself that. I come up with mental understanding. Sometimes in the process of governments or in the process of livelihood, there is a process. Because if you just throw something on and people don't understand it, you're going to have more negative outcome of that. And that's one reason why I like democracy. Democracy is a chance for people to supposedly vote or say what's on their mind or even have the opportunity to do.
Yes, that's wonderful. And even as we talk about feminism and the nuanced nature of intersectional feminism in the United States, we must also make sure not to neglect the powerful, important work of feminists around the world. We cannot afford to perceive feminism in the United States as though it exists within a vacuum. There are certainly similarities between the feminist struggle in the United States and abroad, but some of the fights for justice that exist outside the U.S. risk seeming extremely isolated from us unless we actively pay close attention to them. If we want our feminism to be all-inclusive, then we need to talk about feminists from foreign countries who are making a difference as well. And tonight, I want to thank these ladies for making a difference. And I'm going to start with Malaya Yousafzai from Pakistan in the UK. She's a longtime advocate for girls' education. The 18-year-old became the youngest Nobel Prize laureate when she won the Nobel Peace Prize for her walk to make education accessible to all children. Chiamanda Ngozi Adichie of Nigeria. She is a Nigerian writer and novelist who currently splits her time between Nigeria and the United States, where she teaches workshops. She famously quoted, "The problem with gender is that it prescribes how we should be rather than recognizing how we are."
Wow. What I like to talk about is the process throughout this whole episode. The process now, as you notice as you turn on your TV, we are having a Congress debate about impeaching President Donald Trump. We got Black Lives Matter movement, meaning that African Americans are demanding to be more equal in their economy and to the world. We got across the globe of things changing with feminism. And the definition of feminism, don't forget, is the equal quality of being equal to another human. They are closing gaps on trafficking, all kind of negative things that has been done to the race of women.